Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv and welcome to episode 2 of the summer transfers. And as promised, this time we looked at the left backs, but tonight we're going to be looking at the midfielders. Now, originally when I made this video, I did it on 3 or 4 players, and then we had some comments about certain players, should we include those? And so I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll reshoot it. I'll start again from scratch and I'll include more. Tonight we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 9 players that we're going to talk about. Some of them in a little bit of detail, others just briefly skip over. But if you haven't seen the left back one, go over and watch it on there, and give us your comments below about the left backs. But tonight is all about the midfielders. So as we know, we've got an exceptional midfield at Manchester City. We know that Fernandinho is now signed an extended 1-year contract, and we've still got obviously Rodri that's finding his way. His first year in the Premier League, so he's finding his way into the team. But there's been an awful lot of rumours, as you would expect, over the summer, from anyone from Bernardo Silva wanting to leave, to Laporte wanting to leave, to Raheem Sterling's not happy, and this is going to go on and on and on and on and on. It just, that is the way it is. But what I decided to do is I decided to look at these and look at some of the stats. I used 4-4-2 as well, like I used on the left back one, and I looked at sort of what they thought their top 10 in Europe. This was 6 weeks old, so going back to what they thought was their top 10 of midfielders in world football right now. Surprisingly, Paul Pogba wasn't in there, but I also looked at Football Critics, which I did on the left back review, and looked at what were they rating the best midfielders in world football. And I picked these players. Some of them, 1 or 2, are not in the top 10 or in the 4-4-2 ratings. Bruno Fernandes was, but I'm ruling that out because he's never come to City. I don't want him at City anyway. But going to go through them. Anyway, like I did last time. Hope you like it. Give us your comments below. If I've missed somebody, I did ask on the channel. I did say, is there anybody you want to talk about? Well, somebody did actually make a comment saying about Manuel Lanzini, who's currently ripping it up for Italy in the Euros. So I thought, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to reshoot it anyway. I'll include him in there. So that's for whoever asked for that. But anyway, let's start off with first midfielder. Now, I'll be surprised. First off, before I show you these players, I'd be very surprised if City go all out for like a big, defensive midfielder, let's say. But they could do. They might not be. I'm surprised Rodri's not been included on the list, but I'll be surprised. Now, there are the likes and names of Grealish and others who are midfielders, attacking midfielders, things like that, which we'll come to. But if anything, I think it will be an attacking midfielder if we do go for somebody. I'd be really surprised if we go for a defensive midfielder, unless maybe Rodri goes in the summer. And I really can't see that. I can't see the logic in that. First year in the Premier League. But I'm going to roll off a list of players. And in my opinion, looking at the players that have voted sort of top 10 midfielders in world football, I'm going to start off with one. And at the end, like I did on the left back video, I'm going to rate them 1, 2, 3. Or I'll give them a 7 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10 and give you my final one. Don't forget the left back one. Theo Hernandez was my #1 pick for the left back position on there. So first off, let's have a look. And whether he will come or not, we've got Marco Verratti. Now, Verratti, he's 28. So he's a little bit older than what we would normally go for. Currently at PSG. Now, transfer market have him as a value of £49.5 million. I think it cost a hell of a lot more than that, if I'm being honest. But if we look at the full season, I'm not going to do leagues this time, just league and then 4. I'm going to do the whole season, the games that he played for PSG. He played 31 games, which isn't a lot when you consider it. He got no goals, but he got 6 assists. Now, if you look at Football Critics' ratings of him, they give him an 89. An 89. And I'll come to where he is on the list of their sort of player ratings. Now, as we know, Verratti is a wonderful player. He's a very, very, very good player. Somebody I've been speaking about on the channel for about 2-3 years. But he's now pushing sort of 28. And that's fine. Obviously, that's 7 years on Fernandinho. And he's still a very, very good player. And if you want experience, he's got a pack full of experience. 31 goals, though. I'm just looking down my list now. There's only one player who's played less than him, but that was through injury. Now, I know he has picked up a couple of niggles, but no goals whatsoever. 6 assists. I think he's more in the N'Golo Kante role. He's more of a, a breaker up of stuff. He is classy on the ball, don't get me wrong. But like I said, Football Critics give Verratti a rating of 89. Transfer market give him a value of 49.5 million. There's no way PSG would let him go for that. No way in a million years. I haven't got the stats on each player and how long they've got left. And I don't think it really matters for this. I really don't. Not for the midfield. I'll come back when I do the strikers and the forwards. I will put in the contracts, because I do think the midfield's an area that I'm not sure we're going to, unless we sell, I'm not sure we're going to actually really go deep into, buying players in that particular region. Now, if Bernardo Silva leaves, if Rodri left and things like that, of course, we're going to have to buy. But I can't see it. I just can't see it. We've just got so many good players in those areas. But anyway, let's move on to the second one. This is Frankie de Jong. Now, we know he's at Barcelona. Understand that. But he is 24. Now, he's not had the best of season since he's moved. Remember Ajax, he was exceptional. Somebody I actually did when I did the Rodri video, and I did the Cancelo video. I also did a Frankie de Jong video as well on him, and it's somebody I was quite keen on. He's not at the best of times, but it does look like he's coming back into some sort of form. And I don't know if it's a settling in period or what it was. But as I said, he's only 24 years of age, so he's in that perfect bracket. Now, transfer market value him as £81 million. And I would say he's probably there or thereabouts around that. Maybe 70 million, 80 million. His value it's not shot up to ridiculous levels whilst he's been at Barcelona, but he played 51 games, so that shows he's consistently getting into the team at Barca. Also shows you that he's keeping fit, which is important. 51 games, 7 goals, 8 assists. Now, if you compare that to Verratti, who is 4 years older, 31 games, no goals, 6 assists. He's got 51 games, 7 goals, 8 assists. You can see they're possibly slightly different players. Verratti's more of a breaking play up, like a Fernandinho or a N'Golo Kante. But Frankie de Jong is young and he's an exceptional talent. Now, Football Critic give him a rating of 86, and I'll tell you where he falls on their radar in the top 10 players that we're going to talk about. Right, on to another one. Now, this player, which, if you don't know, is Leon Goretzka. Now, Goretzka is 26, so again, he's in that perfect bracket. Bayern Munich, that's going to be difficult. And obviously, he had a good game the other night. Now, they value him on transfer market at £63 million. So, yeah, it's a little bit steep, but he is a good player. Now, last season, he played 32 games, but he scored 8 goals and got 9 assists, which, when you look at it, it's better than Frankie de Jong's, even though Frankie de Jong played 19 games more. It's significantly better than Marco Verratti's, who got no goals and 6 assists. We've got 8 goals and 9 assists in the Bundesliga and the Champions League and all the cup competitions as well. And like I said, £63 million is what transfer market value Leon Goretzka at. Now, on Football Critics, their rating they give him is 89. So they give him an 89, same as Marco Verratti. Remember, Frankie de Jong's was 86, and you take into that whatever you like. But right age. Trying to get him off Bayern would be an absolute nightmare, but you would definitely have to sell. For me, you'd have to sell a Rodri, something like that, to even think about bringing in someone like Leon Goretzka. But like I said, these are all difficult. You could probably dismiss all of these. There might be one player that you don't want to dismiss, but I'll leave that right near the end. But I just wanted to compare Kevin De Bruyne with these type of players, and they are slightly different type of players. I do understand that. But moving on to the next one, somebody who we know well, which is Mason Mount. Now, Mason Mount, 22 years of age, so absolute perfect for Pep Guardiola. Obviously, plays for Chelsea, had a great game in the Champions League final. He played 54 games last year. Now, if you remember, Man City, out of all of the games they could have played 62, and we played 61 games out of a possible 62. Well, that shows you how many games Mason Mount played. He played 54, 9 goals and 9 assists. So better than Goretzka, better than Frankie de Jong, better than Marco Verratti in the Premier League, so Premier League experience as well. Now, transfer market gave him a value of £67.5 million. And I'm sure if you looked at that 3-4 months ago, it would have been nowhere near that. Purely he's a Champions League winner, obviously. So they've added on a massive market value to him. I would suggest he probably will cost more than that, at least another 10-15 million on top of that if you wanted to try and get him. Football critics give him a rating of 86, so he's on the same as Frankie de Jong, probably because he's a young player. But 54 games, 9 goals, 9 assists, which is a decent return, especially when you look at the others, even though Leon Goretzka only played 32 games and got 8 goals and 9 assists in the Bundesliga. Mason Mount got 1 more goal than he did in all competitions. So Mason Mount, can you see it, Mason Mount? I'm not too sure, I'll be honest. Which leads me on to the next one, which again, it's another difficult, trying to get anyone out of Bayern Munich. It's obviously Joshua Kimmich, somebody who I have loved for years and years and years. Somebody who Pep Guardiola turned into a world-class utility midfield player. Now, he's still only 26 years of age. And if you think Pep Guardiola's been at Man City now in his 5th year, Kimmich is 26. So his formative years, Pep Guardiola was moulding him into the player that he wanted him to be. We've seen how he's played a right-back role, a midfield role, an inside right. I mean, he's a wonderful, wonderful player. Good at corners, good at free kicks. Very, very intelligent player. Could you get him away from Bayern Munich? I'm not too sure. But last season played 39 games, last season in all competitions. Scored 6 goals, got 14 assists. 14 assists overall in that. So you can clearly see Kimmich would be a wonderful player at Manchester City. However, you're not going to get him away from Bayern Munich. He's valued, according to transfer market, at £81 million in there. So 6 goals and 14 assists. 6 goals and 14 assists in that time for last season. 14 assists shows you how good he is from the right as a creative midfielder. Still gets 6 goals, good at corners, good at free kicks. He gets a player rating on Football Critics as 88. 88. So he is just 1 behind Leon Goretzka on there. So I'd love him at City. I really, really would, because he is so versatile. We know he's a world-class player. 39 games, 6 goals and 14 assists. Amazing. But I can't see it happening because it's Bayern Munich. Which leads us on to the one that somebody did say, please, can you talk about him? Can't remember who it is, but a shout out to that person who said, can you talk about Manuel Locatelli? Well, Manuel Locatelli is 23 years of age, so in that perfect age range. Now, he's at Sassuolo. Transfer market give him a value of £31.5 million. Now, when you look at how much he's played, 34 games. He scored 4 goals and 3 assists. Now, when you weigh that up, I'm trying to look at Leon Goretzka in the Bundesliga. 32 games, 8 goals, 9 assists. But you look at Verratti's 31 games, no goals, 6 assists. So 4 goals and 3 assists, not too bad. Serie A is, it's a little bit more conservative. We know, like I said, 31.5 million is what transfer market put on him. Probably if Italy go long in the Euros, that will increase significantly. However, football critics give him a rating of 90, which is more than Kimmich, it's more than Mason Mount, it's more than Goretzka, it's more than Frenkie de Jong, and it's more than Marco Verratti. They give him nearly the highest rating for midfielders in world football. And that was done prior, those ratings were done prior to the World Cup starting. And he's had a pretty decent World Cup so far. So, Manuel Locatelli, 23 years of age. Perfect age bracket for a Pep Guardiola. I don't know. I threw that one in because somebody asked me to talk about him. Yeah, football critics have given him a massive rating there. Huge rating, which leads me on to an Englishman. Obviously, at the Euros, that's Declan Rice. Now, Declan Rice is 22, so he's a year younger than Locatelli. Obviously, at West Ham, had a good season. Did well in the first game for England in the Euros. Not great the other night against Scotland. But if we look at his figures, and this is the only thing that worries me a little bit. Declan Rice, transfer market give him a value of 58.5 million. And we know you can add another 10 million or 20 million onto that if you want to. 35 games, 2 goals and 1 assist. Now, I know he's a defensive midfielder per se. I'll tell you what I'll do is while I'm actually filming this video, I'm just gonna type up. I'm just gonna type up on here. What did Fernandinho get last season? Let's see what he got. Fernandinho got 1 goal and 4 assists last season. 1 goal and 4 assists. And he played 36 games in total. Now, he played 2,170 minutes. So Declan Rice definitely played more minutes than that, without a shadow of a doubt. But if you look at it, yeah, 2 goals, 1 assist. Oh, great. When we're talking here about, Frenkie de Jong, 7 goals, 8 assists. Leon Goretzka, 8 goals, 9 assists. And I know they're slightly different players. I do understand that. Mason Mount, 9 goals, 9 assists. Kimmich plays, fairly defensive role, 6 and 14 assists. Manuel Locatelli, 4 goals, 3 assists. Declan Rice, 2 goals and 1 assist. Granted, he wasn't playing long in cup competitions. He wasn't playing long in the Champions League. Wasn't in the Champions League. But anyway, 58.5 million is what transfer market give him. Football critics give him a rating of 86. So he's on the low end of those players in the top 10 anyway. Which leads me on to the last two. On one who has gotten lots and lots and lots of clickbaits and everything else at the moment. And that is this fellow. Well, we know it's all about Jack Grealish in it at the moment. Everyone's crying out for him to play for England. He should be replacing Sterling, Foden, and everybody else. Well, his stats actually do back it up. And there's obviously the big rumours of Jack Grealish. Man City want Jack Grealish, blah, 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 blah. Well, Jack Grealish is 25. Perfect age, no problem whatsoever. He's got Premier League experience. He had a few injuries. He had a few off-the-field issues as well. But he played 27 games. So if I look through that, he played the least games out of any of these midfielders last season, obviously because of some injuries. But he scored 7 goals and he got 12 assists. Now that's really good. Really, out of 27 games for Villa. Transfer market value him at 58.5 million. So he is The same value as Declan Rice. Obviously, slightly different players, but he's up in the Mason Mounts, the Goretzka, the Verratti. He's more than Verratti, because of his age. Because he's still young, 25 years of age. Football Critic gave him a rating of 85. It's at the low end of these players, considering that he's in the higher end bracket of pricing, I would suggest. But 27 games, 7 goals, 12 assists. That is decent. That is really, really decent. He would not cost 58.5 million. I guarantee you that. He would be closer to 70, 80 million, at least for me, if City were to look at a Jack Grealish. But like the oldies saying, is whose place is he going to take? He's in a very similar mold to Phil Foden. He isn't a replacement for Raheem Sterling. He just simply isn't, because he's not quick enough, and he's not a left winger. He's that number 10, that number 8 role. And there we've got Bernardo Silva, we've got Kevin De Bruyne, and we've got Phil Foden. If you gave me the choice of Phil Foden and Jack Grealish, I'll take Phil Foden every day of the week. Every day of the week. He's not going to take Kevin De Bruyne's place. That's for certain. So you're looking at City are going to have to move on. A Bernardo Silva or a Riyad Mahrez or someone like that to squeeze him into the team, because he for me is not ahead of Phil Foden. He's not. But he is a very, very, very good player. Now, while I've just been talking, let me just bring up quickly before I go to the final person I just want to talk about. Let me just bring up what was Phil Foden's stats compared, because they are very similar players. Well, here we go. Jack Grealish played 27 times, 27 games. Phil Foden played 50 in all competitions. That shows you the amount of football that Phil Foden played. 7 goals, 12 assists. Well, Phil Foden in all competitions got 16 goals and 10 assists. Now, of course, he's played almost double the amount of games that Jack Grealish has, which goes to show you those figures from Grealish are pretty impressive. They are pretty impressive. Do I like him? I'm not keen on him. I'll be honest on him, as he comes across. But he's a footballer, so I have to look at his footballing ability. And they stack right up there. They really do with some of the other players that I've spoken about in only 27 games. Decent stats. Even if you like him or dislike him, he is Marmite. They're decent stats, 7 goals and 12 assists. So Jack Grealish probably will cost at least 70, 80 million quid minimum, which is a lot of money. But who does City get rid of to bring in somebody like a Grealish? Would you like to get rid of a Bernardo for a Grealish? Would you like to get rid of a Riyad Mahrez for a Grealish? Because we've got to, if you're going to spend that much money on an English player at that age, you're going to have to squeeze him in somewhere. And that means somebody, and it's all right saying rotation, but, you're spending 60, 70, 80 million pounds on a player. You're going to expect to play. They're going to expect to play. He's not going to go from pretty much number 1 player at one club to go into, look at the comments of Sterling. He's not been happy about the amount of game time that he's played this year. Well, that's because of his form. And I'm sure he'll take that on the chin. But, let's invest that much money in a player and then play him 25 times, not play every game. And I don't know. It's a hard one. Give us your comments below. What do you think? I've given you Verratti. I've given you Frankie de Jong. I've given you Leon Goretzka. I've given you Mason Mount, Joshua Kimmich, Manuel Locatelli. I've given you Declan Rice and Jack Grealish. But before I go, let's just stack up all of those stats compared to this fella. As we know, voted player of the season, and he is number 1 on the list on 442 as the best midfielder in world football. Now, Kevin De Bruyne's stats, I was looking at them. 40 games, 10 goals, 18 assists. He's valued at £91 million on transfer market. Now, Manuel Locatelli, 90 million, yeah. The closest to it is Frankie de Jong on 81 million. Now, of course, Kevin De Bruyne is 29. All right, so there's a bit of a difference there. Plenty of time for Frankie de Jong to jump to that quite easily. But £90 million. Football critics give him the highest rating of the lot. They give him a rating of 91. So Kevin De Bruyne comes first on Football Critics ratings. Second is Manuel Locatelli. Third, or joint third, is Verratti on 89. Goretzka on 89. Fourth is Kimmich on 88. Joint fifth is Frankie de Jong and Mason Mount on 86. And then at the bottom, 85 is Jack Grealish. But 40 games, 10 goals, 18 assists. And that is in an injury-strewn season as well. Anyone else score more goals than him from midfield? Granted, they are slightly different players. No. Anybody get any assists more than him this season? No. The only one close was Grealish on 12, Kimmich on 14. But again, Jack Grealish played 13 games less. Kimmich played 39, 1 game less. He got 6 goals, 14 assists. De Bruyne, 40 games, 1 game more, 10 goals, 18 assists. That's in the Premier League. It just shows you how good Kevin De Bruyne is. But what it does highlight to me, it really does. Not a player I'm particularly keen on, but just goes to show you what Jack Grealish's stats are like. They are decent. They are really decent. So I'm going to go through like I did on the left back. What am I going to give it out of 10 for it happening? Marco Verratti, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Ain't happening. Simple as. Frankie de Jong, I'm going to give it the same. Can't see him leaving Barcelona. I think he's the future in midfield for me. Leon Goretzka, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Again, I can't see him leaving Bayern. Bayern will not sell him. Mason Mount, Champions League winner. Same again, 4 out of 10. Ain't happening. Joshua Kimmich, I'm going to give that a 1 out of 10 because I'd love him to come. I just think he's the mainstay in that Bayern team. He's just he's a wonderful player. There's no way in a million years Bayern would ever let him come. Even with the Pep Guardiola pull, it ain't happening. Now, Manuel Locatelli, I'm gonna give that a 6 out of 10. I'd like to see what he does in the Euros right the way through, because he's only around about 31 and a half, 32 million pound player. Maybe at 23, that is something City are looking at in these Euros. Maybe. I don't know. But I'd still give it a 6 out of 10, purely because I'm not sure whether City really need a midfielder. Declan Rice. I think they're going to be bids in for him. I'm going to give Declan Rice a 7 out of 10. I do think there'll be bids in for him, even though when I look at his stats, they're not the best. They're not. Jack Grealish, I do think this is an 8 out of 10. I do. I really do. And I'm like that with him. 27 games, 7 goals, 12 assists. Stacks up against everybody, with the exception, obviously, of Kevin De Bruyne. But he's pretty close to Kevin De Bruyne. I do think this is going to be the bid. I really do. If we're going to go for a midfielder, I think it's going to be Jack Grealish, and I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. Which leaves us to thank God we tied down Kevin De Bruyne, because what a player he is. 40 games, 10 goals, 18 assists. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. That is your midfield summer transfer roundup. Gave you Verratti, De Jong, Goretzka, Mount, Kimmich, Locatelli, Rice, KDB, and Jack Grealish, even though Kevin De Bruyne is a Man City player. Give us your thoughts below. Have I missed anyone? I did ask you. I said, if you want to comment, I will look at them. Locatelli, somebody said, so I have done that and gave you the stats and breakdown on him. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think there's going to be much, unless we have, if all these rumours are true, everyone's leaving and all our midfielders will be gone except for Kevin De Bruyne. I can't see it. Maybe a Grealish, maybe an attacking player, maybe somebody does have to go. Maybe a Bernardo Silva or a Raheem Sterling even, or a Riyad Mahrez. But give us your comments. What do you think? Any of those, what would you give them? 1 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10? Definitely coming. No chance. Give us your comments below. Don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. and make sure you smash that bell button, and that way you'll be notified when new videos do come out on the channel. But anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Take care. Have a wonderful evening wherever you are, and yeah, thanks for watching.